Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for taking some time for us today. We are really excited to be connecting with you this afternoon to share a little bit more about MGT, the kinds of risks that will be a good help to you with, how the platform works, and all along the way, I want to encourage you, if you have any questions, please use that chat feature. It should be right around the bottom middle of your screen, little text box that says chat. You can use that to ask us any questions that you've got, and we'll be happy to answer those live with you as we go through the presentation today. So I will be talking a lot. I'm going to take a quick break. Annalise, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll get everything kicked off.
Yeah, definitely. My name's Annalise, and I work in partnership success. And what I do here at MGT Insurance is I help agents feel comfortable with the MGT appetite, and I help them grow their book. So whether it's an agent just getting started, somebody who's been with MGT for a bit, I'm a great resource to just get you comfortable in MGT and get you quoting and binding.
Yes. And my name's Dan. I'm the partner activation leader here at MGT. What I would say for you all is you can kind of think of me as your MGT fixer. If you're ever not sure who to reach out to, need some extra support, especially while you're getting up and running with us, please reach out to me. And if I can't help directly, I can at least get you to the right person. So let's go ahead and get everything fired off. We're about a minute past the top of the hour now. So I will share my screen here. And with MGT, the era of Neo Insurance has arrived. Now, I'm sure that we've got a few folks who are on the other side of the screen right now saying, Dan, you've been doing this for literally less than 2 minutes, and you're already throwing these crazy buzzwords at me. What is Neo Insurance anyway? And that's a very reasonable question to ask because we're the first ones to do it. So you can kind of think of MGT and being a Neo insurer in the context of the wider industry. We're all familiar with insurance carriers. These companies have been doing amazing things, sometimes for decades and decades, even hundreds of years. And it's incredible the way that insurance facilitates the global economy. But as these companies have grown and as they've evolved, they haven't always done so with speed, ease of doing business, delivering a great experience being the concerns that are top of mind for them. You've had over the last several years insurtechs step up to fill that space. There's a lot of different ways they can be organized. You've got your MGAs, your MGUs, wholesalers, comparative raters, all different kinds of forms that can take. But when you start to peel away some of the buzzwords and look at the mechanics of how they operate, very few of them actually are the carrier. So they're typically selling someone else's insurance, and they've just kind of developed a nice platform that's easy to use when everything works, but they aren't really calling the shots. So if they might have to make adjustments, their tech might break, and it's something done by a vendor. And that's really where MGT stands apart. We are the carrier, so we stand behind the risks that we underwrite through our platform. We built the platform really from the ground floor. And so because we control that whole process, even all the way out to paying and adjusting claims when those occur, it really just lets us deliver that great experience for the entirety of the process from the day you start the quote to the day that last claim check goes out. And because of that, we can deliver a great experience all along the way. So a couple quick facts here about MGT. We are rated A minus by AM Best. That is excellent financial strength. And we're also writing all of our policies on 100% ISO language BOP forms. Those are the most legally tested forms on the market. So I like to start off with those 2 points because I know we're not yet a household name. But if there ever is a claim or a loss that occurs, you can feel confident the policy will respond the way that you think it should, and MGT will be here to stand behind that policy. What I think you'll all really appreciate, though, is that we've built a 100% digital, zero friction process where you will never be asked to look at an accord form. We will never come back to you and ask you to fill out 45-page supplemental applications. You won't have to do a 3 week long back and forth email chain with an underwriting team to get more information and try and firm things up. In fact, through our platform, most of our users are able to complete a quote and get to a bound policy in 5 to 10 minutes. Quotes typically can be completed in 3 to 5 minutes. All quotes through our platform are fully bindable. We stand behind that technology that we use. And so, because of that, it just delivers a speed that's hard to match. We've also got a wide footprint. We're admitted in over 40 states and Washington, D.C. So, in many cases, anywhere that you're able to write, we're there to be able to assist as well. So a couple quick numbers here. My favorite one to share here is actually that our platform had 100% uptime in the last quarter. That's just the last quarter we can take a full look at. I think when we get to July 1st and we can look back at the second quarter, we'll probably be able to just make a quick edit to the spreadsheet and keep that up. It's just really important, I think, that 100% of the time somebody needed to access MGT to quote, bind, issue, service, or renew a policy, to answer a question, to help someone make a payment. Our platform was there, it was live, it wasn't throwing up error pages or endless loading screens. It was there to help you meet your goals and not get in your way. Now, when we're talking about appetite, we are focused on small businesses. We're writing over 300 classes of business, including artisan contractors, professional offices, medical offices, retail stores, barber shops, beauty parlors, nail salons, grocery stores, coffee shops, restaurants up to 50% alcohol sales, and more can all be a great fit with MGT. We are again focused on small business. To us, that means up to 3 million in revenue for professional and medical office, or sorry, 3 million in revenue for most risks, 5 million in revenue for professional and medical offices. Writing risks up to 100 employees, up to 35,000 square feet as a general rule of thumb. There is a little nuance there from class to class. Up to 2 million total insured value in property per location, with up to 4 locations per policy. And don't hold yourself back and limit yourself and only send us the most nice, neat, clean, perfect risks that land on your desk. We'll take those too and we'll make it easy for you. But when you get a new venture, a business with no prior insurance, coverage lapses, claims history, all those situations can be eligible. And so I'd encourage you to submit those as well and let us show you how easy it really should be. Now, I get caught all the time saying that we write just the BOP or we write just BOPs. And, while the BOP is the main policy that we focus on, there are a lot of other optional coverages and add-ons available. Not going to go through this whole list here, but I do like to highlight professional liabilities available. We see this a lot for barbershops, beauty parlors, nail salons, and photographers. It's not available for our office risks because generally they'd be better served with a standalone professional liability or med mal policy, not the endorsement to the BOP. But it is very, very impactful for those personal care services. We see that driving buying decisions all the time. Hire non-owned auto, also really impactful. That's available for artisan contractors, most of our office risks, a lot of our retail risks, and also for restaurants that aren't doing any of their own delivery. If they're just delivering through third-party apps or if they've just got no delivery operations, we can offer the hire non-owned auto, make it nice and easy for everybody. If we've got anybody joining from a monopolistic workers' comp state, I had to learn what stopgap coverage is for you all, so I always like to highlight that we can do that as well. Mine subsidence in a few areas too. So a lot of great coverages that you can really tailor to that specific business that you're working with. Make sure you've got a policy that fits them like a glove. We've got some optional coverages and sublimits here as well. Real highlight when we're talking about these is that when you're working through our platform and you're adjusting details on a quote to really get it, again, dialed in to meet that business's needs, it will only show you bindable options. So you can always feel confident that you can stand behind quotes produced through MGT's platform. For restaurants, we do have some specific enhanced coverages available. They've got access to higher limits for spoilage and contamination. They've got the premises security coverages, the higher non-owned auto that we discussed. And if they've got valet operations, they can get coverage for damage to customers' property to cover those autos that are in their care, custody, or control.
Dan, before we move away from this page, I want to note, folks, if we go back to the restaurants, this customer auto liability was something that was requested from one of our agents. So when we came to market with restaurants, we didn't have that coverage. We heard a couple of times like, we really need this for some of our finer dining, and that's something we took back, improved our product. So at MGT Insurance, we're always encouraging feedback from the agents because we want to build a product that you feel comfortable with, but has everything that you need. So we're always open to feedback.
That's a really good note. And that I would say kind of goes back to that first slide we looked at, the value of MGT being the carrier in this process is that we can make those changes. Most insurtechs would not be able to deliver that kind of turnaround on a request like that. So really good note. Now, when we're looking at contractors, we've got some great coverages available for them as well. For contractors, we are writing them on a BOP form, so there are some included property coverages that they just wouldn't have on a GL policy. They've got automatic coverage with limits up to 100,000 for miscellaneous tools and equipment, automatic coverage for contractors installation, and so I would encourage you to submit some artisan contractors through as well. And I think that can be a great product for us.
And we've got a question on, do we do roofers?
No, we do not. So we are writing admitted BOPs. We are not looking for the high risk classes. But when you have, one of the I would say easier classes like electricians, HVAC installers, landscapers, janitorial services, painters, plumbers, electricians, those can be very, very easy. So you can knock them out, get them great coverage. It's admitted, no taxes, no fees. We offer monthly payments, which I know is impactful for contractors. And give your time back, give yourself some time back in the day. So when you do get those calls from roofers, you've got the time and the mental bandwidth to spend getting quotes for them too. So let's go ahead and take a look at how everything works. Now, before we jump into the platform, I always like to start on our website, mgtinsurance.com, and then click into the Appetite tab. If you're following along at home or on another screen, that's in the upper left of those options on the top. You'll see a map of all the states where we're admitted and writing business. And then if we scroll down, you can communicate with Amy, our AI appetite assistant. Amy is a great resource for you. So let's just say, let's ask her, can you write a roofer? Now, I know these questions come up all the time. They certainly come up outside business hours. And that's why this is such a powerful tool to have because Amy's live and online 24/7, 365. So Amy will let us know very quickly MGT is not a market for roofers. And then, we can move on. But now we know we didn't have to go through doing the legwork of a whole submission to find out. We could also say, can you write a sushi restaurant? And then Amy will, again, kind of think through the appetite. What's really great is it knows our appetite beyond just a class code and even a state level. You can really dig into specifics. It's able to keep the context of a conversation. And so this is, again, just a really powerful tool to have in your toolbox. And you don't even have to log in to access it. You can just click into the appetite tab on our website. But the real fun does start once we click sign in. That'll take us into the platform where you've got options to start a new quote. You can use the build your team page and update your team. You can create accounts for anyone who should have access to MGT. Then you've got appetite guide link here. If you have any appetite questions, then you can get quick answers for them. One other thing I like to highlight before we move into the next page is you can click this little chat box here in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and you can use that to communicate with our support team. And I like to recommend using that chat support when it's an option because it gives them some extra context, like what page on the website you're looking at, if you're working on a quote, where you're at in that process. And it just saves them a little time, saves you a little time as well, because they don't have to go back and get all that information. So they can get those answers to you when you need them instead of having to ask some follow-up questions to help get there first. So let's go ahead. We'll start a new quote. And to do that, first thing we'll do is type in the name of the business. So I always like to do fun ones. Let's do, oh, Dan's Camera City. That sounds like a good one. So we'll select that and click continue. We will go ahead and classify this, and then it will start to build our quote. What's happening behind the scenes is we are communicating now with dozens of different data vendors. We're looking up over 3,900 different data points on this business, and it's using that to classify it. You'll also see as we go through the application process that it is answering or pre-filling some of the questions for us. That just changes the way that we work through a quote. It changes it from being about doing research and having to kind of like flip through different tabs, looking at Facebooks and Google Maps and everything else. It saves us from having to go back to get clarification from the insured. And really, more of what we're doing is verifying. I like to say trust but verify. We're going to make sure everything looks right. We want our quote to be accurate. We want it to be complete and really represent that risk. But you'll see how our technology is going to find a lot of this information for us.
And we've got a question in the chat. Does MGT do commercial property?
That's a great question. We do not do standalone commercial property, but we do write buildings and business personal property both as part of our BOP coverage. So really good question there. And so we will continue through the quote. You see it's classifying it for us here. If we did need to make any changes, we can click into this. We can start typing, or we can just scroll through and select different options to find the class that best describes that risk. I think camera shop for Dan's Camera City sounds pretty good to me. So we'll click continue. First couple questions will always be the same. Have there been any claims? Do we need any building coverage? We'll keep those as they are for now and click continue. And then once we get into the next page, you'll start to see the system is providing these answers for us. But let's just say, we go here all the time. We know they don't actually have 35 employees. Maybe the real number is 10. If we need to make any updates, it's as easy as keying in the updated information. We'll click continue again. And then in the next page, we'll answer a couple more questions about the business. And then continue. We'll go ahead and give them some sales. And then in the next page is where we can add any additional insureds and any building or location information that we need to. Now, there can be an additional charge for additional insureds. And so I do like to recommend adding those up front when you know they'll be needed. That way, the quote that you get at the end of the process will be fully accurate and include the pricing for those additional insured endorsements.
And we've got another question. The business classification is tow trucking, and the client needs to insure their building, which they use for an office space. Is this something MGT can insure?
It's a great question. I think that one would probably be a little bit outside of our wheelhouse because of their tow truck operations. Just not really a class that we support. We do write a lot of offices, but generally they would need to be, either a professional office along the lines of a accountant, lawyer, insurance agent, real estate agent, mortgage loan underwriter, those types of operations. And so I think for tow trucking, just because they're going to be getting into some other types of things probably just wouldn't be the cleanest fit for us. I would hate to encourage you to submit that as one of your first submissions because it wouldn't really be the best experience you could get. But I have to say, I love Hovsep that you're out there thinking about what will fit with MGT, what you could give us a shot on. And I would really encourage you to get familiar with Amy because I think you and Amy are going to be good friends. And so back to the quoting process. If we need to add an additional insured, it's as simple as clicking the button to do that, selecting the type of additional insured, keying in their name and address, answering a couple of questions. And then when we get to the end of the quote, that additional insured will be included on the quote. For the building, this is pretty neat. You can see our technology is finding a lot of the details here. We've identified the square footage of it, the construction type. We can tell there's no automatic sprinkler system. But again, if we need to make any updates, to do that is as easy as keying in the correct information. So maybe it pulled 14,500 square feet. Maybe that's the full building. They're just in one unit of it. We know it's actually 1450 square feet. To update that is as easy as making that update. If we need to add any additional buildings or locations, doing that's fairly simple as well. And then we'll click continue. We've got one last question here, which will ask us if we want to opt out of TRIA coverage. We'll keep that on and click continue again. And then in just a few seconds here, we should have a quote back. And so at this point, our technology is kind of coming back into play. It's getting that additional information behind the scenes. One thing that you're not really seeing here, but a lot of the information that it's finding gets surfaced to our underwriting team. So this one referred, I probably just keyed in something a little bit wrong that it shouldn't have. Um, but you can see here we've got this premium indication. So even if you get that referral, you can have a pretty solid idea of where we would come in from a rating basis. And if we're going to be competitive, you can follow up on that. If we're way out of the ballpark, I mean, Annalise and I's jobs would just be way too easy if we won every single risk. Why we even show up for work after that point? So you can tell, will MGT be the best option? And then make your next plans accordingly. From here, this is all grayed out, so I'm sorry, that's a little lame. I can't quite show you the full beauty of this process, but we could update any of our sublimits and deductibles. When we do that, it automatically recalculates out the premium so we can weigh the effect of those changes. And then from there, we can go through the binding process. So let me see if I can
And
just
real
find.
quick, I wanted to highlight just on that page, folks, if you do get to an underwriting referral status, we do have standard, practices where we try to close those in about 24 hours. But there was a chat feature there. So if you're working on a risk, you need it reviewed today, get in that chat feature. Someone on our team will take a look. We'll get it to the underwriter and we'll do our best to get it under those 24 hours. So if you have time, you can definitely wait. We'll get to it. But if you need it done, we'll do our best to handle that.
Yep. And I just pulled up this other quote. I think someone else on our team ran this, so I hope they don't mind when I bind it. But I want to show you what the binding process looks like with MGT because this just blows people's mind every day about how easy it is. So first thing we'll do is click continue to bind and confirm our effective date. Then we'll enter in the policyholder's contact information. Now we'll click confirm and send to insured, and our platform will actually email over a link to the policyholder that they can use to finalize the purchase of the policy. What's really great is you can keep track of what's happening with that payment, or sorry, with that link after it's been sent out here, and maybe save yourself a little back and forth, or if you come here and then give the insured a call, you'll know where they're at in that journey. Now, if you're ever working with somebody who needs a little extra assistance, or maybe they don't receive that link for one reason or another, you can click this copy share link button. A lot of people overlook this, but you all were smart enough to come to the webinar, so you're going to know exactly where it's at when you need it. So we'll click that link. You could then send that out as a text message. You could email it over from your own email, Or what I'll do here is just open up a new tab and paste that in, and then we can walk through what the rest of this process looks like. First thing we'll do is select our payment terms. We are in a direct bill admitted carrier, so there are no additional taxes or fees, no interest charges on installment payments. We accept quarterly, monthly, or annual pay. If we select quarterly or monthly, you've got the view payment schedule button here, and you can click that to know exactly when each installment is due and how much each installment will be. So we'll click continue here. And then in the next step is where we'll e-sign all the policy documents. This process is also designed to be very easy and very accessible. And it just replaces that old method that I'm sure we've all had to do where you have to download everything, print it out, get it signed, scan it, upload it, email it to somebody else who has to do all that too. Well, all we have to do together, let's give it the signature. Everybody always smiles when they see how easy that is. We'll agree to e-signing. And then you can click sign all to knock everything out in one shot, or you can click start signing to go through page by page and review each signature line. I like to do sign all, so we'll click that. And then all those documents get emailed over to the policyholder. They actually just hit my inbox, so it really is that fast. They'll also be available to you in the platform after the policy's bound so that you can have access to those for your reference in the future as well. Final step here is to collect payment. We accept credit, debit, or ACH, all major credit card brands. I do like to recommend when it's an option going with ACH just because the payment fees tend to be lower. Those are charged by our payment vendor, and I think it's pretty universal these days that that's the case. But always like to give a heads up there. Final step here is just putting in the payment holder's information. Auto pay is automatically selected. We can always turn it off if we prefer, just with a click of a button, but I like to recommend keeping it on. We'll agree to the terms, click complete transaction, and then we've got the invoice number, so we know that that transaction has gone through. We'll also get a receipt emailed to us once it really is complete. And then if we scroll back and look at the payment page link, you'll see this is all updated now for us. So we can know that the policy's been bound and issued, all the payments have gone through, and then we'll click view policy details to see what I think is every service team's favorite carrier platform page. So this will take a second to load. But this gives us a lot of really important information available right at our fingertips. So if somebody walks in and they have questions, you can tell, look, this is what you paid and the balance. You can see the schedule to see when the next upcoming payment is. You can download receipts and invoices. You can see here the policy ID, some limit information. You can see the day the policy was issued and effective. You can see when it ends, it expires, download all those signed documents. I really like this exposures page as well. We could go in here, and if somebody needs to know their BPP limit, that information's available right up front. We don't have to download an 85-page policy document and then start to dig through that.
We had a question on whether or not we are active in the state of Florida.
Really good question. We are not in Florida, and unfortunately, Florida and Hawaii are the two states that we are not planning to be active in. Every other state is in play, and again, we're admitted in 44 of those, continuing to expand through the end of this year and beyond. But unfortunately, because I would love to come out and visit some folks in Florida, we're just not planning to release there. So one last feature on this page is the quick actions button. If you click that, you've got a link to copy a shareable link. You could actually send the policyholder a link to give them access to this page as well. You can generate a certificate of insurance. So if you've got somebody who is, really in need of a certificate, maybe they've got a landlord or a job owner waiting on them, you can get that literally within about 45 seconds of clicking that bind button. And then it's not on here because we just made payment. But when payments are closer to being due, there will be an option in this to send an automated payment reminder as well, which I know a lot of service teams really appreciate. And so that's how easy it is. I think it always takes a little bit longer when you've got me narrating along the way. Luckily for you, when you're in there quoting, my voice is not going to be coming out of the computer screen to guide you through it. But I think it still took us maybe 10, 15 minutes to go through that entire process together. So you can really start to see, I hope, how fast and how easy it is to work with MGT. So back to the slides. And actually, Annalise, I'm going to turn it over to you now to talk about some recent wins. For those of you who haven't had the pleasure of working with her yet, Annalise is quarterbacking so many of the policies that we work with. She's a great resource and great advocate for you.
Yep, thanks, Dan. Yeah, so some of the recent wins we're having, the ones that we see here, we have an electronic store retailer, think like a wireless store, T-Mobile, Boost Mobile, things of that nature. We're doing a lot of those. Convenience stores, this is a popular class that we have. We can do convenience stores with liquor, convenience store just beer and wine. As long as it's not a 24-hour risk, we're definitely open to those. And then restaurants, all different kinds of restaurants, from just your fast casual restaurant to something like this seafood restaurant here that we did tailor some of its limits, added some building coverage there. Some other recent wins that I'm really seeing develop for us in this last quarter is grocery stores. I love the grocery store. Appetite. I think it's great. Think of things like small cultural grocery stores. I'm seeing a lot of like Mexican markets, some Asian grocery stores. So think of those small niche grocery stores. We're a great fit for those. Also like butcher shops, things of that nature. We're really finding that we're really good in the grocery space. And along with the grocery space, we're comfortable if they have some hot food. Maybe they have some hot plate food you take to go for lunch. We're good with those. So grocery, I'm really pushing that lately. Distribution. Our distribution class has a few things like food distributors, but we recently did an auto parts distributor and a tools distributor. So those are pretty cool distribution classes. And then medical. I think in the medical space, we have a wide range of things you can do, but I'm seeing consistently chiropractic offices and dentist offices binding at MGT Insurance. I think we got great coverages, great prices. So if you guys have anything in those realms, or if you're looking for something to explore, I think we would start in those kind of markets. I think you'd find some good opportunities.
That was great. And if anybody has any appetite questions, shout those out in the chat for us too. I find those can be really interesting. So, last slide here, and I'll actually leave this up for the rest of our time together. But you've got a great team at MGT that's here to support you. What you just saw over the last 30 minutes or so was our technology. And that's really an important part of what we do. But what really makes this company great and special is the human team that's here to stand behind that technology and continue to deliver on that promise to you of making things fast and easy and delightful. You've got myself, you've got Annalise as well. We've got an underwriting team that is amazing. They're responsive by email and by phone. You've got our support chat available 9 a.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern. So wherever you're at in the day, we've got that full day support for you. Customer support team, they're available by email or by phone as well. And then Amy, who we all met at the beginning, who is a great resource for those appetite questions. And she's available 24/7, 365.
I just want to note, team, that we have a great customer service team. So whether you are working in the middle of the night or early in the morning and you get in that chat feature, there's going to be a response there. If we're not online, I can guarantee that somebody will respond to you directly. So do not hesitate to reach out if you guys have any question. Utilize the chat features that we have within our website. Give Dan or I a call. We really want to support our agents. We want our agents to feel supported.
Mhm.
We have a
And
question about review time for underwriting and if you can talk to a person. I think that one is We do review underwriting. If you need to get in touch with underwriting, you can email. You can also use the chat feature. Within our chat feature, we have our underwriting team in there, so you can be navigated straight to the underwriter. We do a lot of things through chat for speed of use. You can do about 5 different quotes at the same time via chat. But if there is a need for a phone call, our underwriter, Veronica, is great on the phone. She will pick up the phone and make sure that our agent feels supported.
Yep. And I would say, as far as an approximate review time, it really depends. Generally, we try to turn around referrals within 24 hours. But if you're ever working on something that has a short fuse, we know what that's like as well. And I'd encourage you to reach out to myself or to Annalise or to our support team and let us know the timeline that you're working with, and we will do our best to make sure that we can meet that timeline so you come out looking like a rock star to your client. So thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate you taking some time today. I personally have to say this is my favorite, like 30 to 45 minutes of the week. The reason I sign in every day and do what I do is because I really enjoy working with insurance agents to help make things easy, help clarify anything that can be confusing, and ultimately help you protect the businesses and the business owners in your communities. I think that's really just a great goal to have, a great way to spend your time. And so, again, thank you all so much for joining us today. Putting in that little bit of extra effort to learn about MGT and how we can work together is really special to us. If you need anything at all, always feel welcome to reach out. You've got our time and attention beyond just this webinar. We are here to support you all throughout the week. Thanks again for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you in the platform. If you enjoyed the presentation today, jump in, run a couple of quotes. That's how I know I did a good job.
Yep, definitely. Thanks, folks. Looking forward to seeing you quote.
Take care, everybody.